This video has been sponsored by Beltline Hobbies and by the Canfield and Wooster train shows, February 14th, 2026 and March 14th, 2026.
Hi everybody, it's Chris at the Cloverdale Transit Authority, and looking a little scruffy on this Sunday morning. Been a rough winter, and just trying to get through everyday stuff in this temperature and this snow has let other things take a back seat, such as getting my hair cut and shaving and what have you. Anyway, I hope you're doing well with all of the snow and the cold wherever you are in the country or in the world, really. I know some of you are getting some of this overseas too. So anyway, so I had a request to do a little video today about how to connect these power blocks or these terminal strips to your model railroad. I did a video last week about putting together a scene on the railroad that showed some guys welding and what have you, and I had to do some wiring, and you saw these terminal blocks on there. So a friend of mine said, "Hey, how do you hook these things up?" So I had to do that kind of research too when I started, because I never really used these before, but boy, they are really great. So I'm just going to kind of show an example, a tabletop example, and it's pretty straightforward. So let's get into it. Okay, so these are very easy to find on Amazon, not eBay, Amazon, and they come in a pack of 5, and there's all kinds of other things. This is not part of that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so they come in a pack of 5, and these are 12 terminals. Now you're going to use 2 of these for a transformer, and then, so forth. So, and they also come with these little covers, and I realized that the 2 that I currently have on my layout, I didn't put the covers back on them. So I'm going to set those aside, make sure those covers on there. That at least keeps everything in there. It keeps anything from, cats getting underneath there and poking their hands and poking their paws up underneath there. So, all right, but in order to get this done, you need to get that off of there. So real easy, just take a screwdriver, pop it up there, and off it comes. Okay, now it's accessible. All right, and they're all Phillips head, so good to go. The next thing that come with these is these connector strips. Now, you may or may not have seen, if you've watched any other videos on this, that in order to jumper all the wires, the positive hot wires and the negative ground wires throughout all these terminals, like half of them are going to be positive and half of them are going to be negative, that you have to cut these little tiny short cables, and you have to jump one to the other, to the other, to the other, however long you want the positives to be or negatives. But this kit comes with these nice little pre-made jumpers, and you can see they go all the way across, which, unless you're using an entire, which you could, an entire strip as positive and an entire strip as negative, you could do that. But in this case, I've got 2 on my railroad, and they feed 2 different areas for accessories. Now, you can also use these to jump your power throughout the track layout so that you're running consistent power in certain distances on your track. But let's just assume that we're going to do this all in one terminal block for an area of accessories. So the first thing you want to do is, let's say you want to split it down the middle. This is what I did. So, you're looking at 12 of these, so 1 through 6 are going to be positive, and then 7 through 12 are going to be negative. So what you want to do is you want to take these, and I'm not going to do this because I want to keep these full in case I need to do something with them, but you're going to take and do half of your block here with these positives and half of your block with the negatives. The best way to do that is, and this is all metal underneath here, but what you can do is get yourself some wire snips or what have you, whatever you use to cut, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you just cut right there. So now you've split these, and you can use them in different combinations. So it's not like you're ruining any of that stuff. And then you do the same thing through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, cut it. And then what you'll do is you will, I'm just going to pretend like this is half of this. You'll get it underneath here, and you can loosen these up. Yeah, you got to get in there, loosen them up. And then you slide these underneath these 1 through 6 for your negative and tie it down, and then the other 6 with your positive, and then tie them down. Now, one thing I do want to recommend, that is, if you are cutting these in half or cutting these as you need them, make sure that you don't butt up the naked end where you cut next to each other. Like, let's say these are the 2 naked ends, you butt them up against each other. Put them at the opposite end, just so there is no touching, in which case, you're going to have a problem. You're going to throw the breaker on your transformer or something. All right, so now you've got these, and what these do is they tie all of these together. So, and I'll explain this in a minute, but these tie all these together as positive and then all these together as negative. So you've split this one block, as an example, you've split this in half between positive and negative. Now, the next thing you do, you want to have, some of these electrical connectors. And I like to use these. Let's just take the positive as an example. Okay, so now you've got your jumpers down here, split between positive and negative, right? And so on the first positive terminal over here on the opposite side, you want to run the positive line, so the center rail line, or if you're using this for accessories, the positive line. You want to run that all the way from your transformer, and you want to put one of these little spades on it. Now, can you just put the bare wire in there and tie it down? Absolutely. This just makes it a little bit easier. So whatever you feel is best for you. So anyway, so the positive line's coming from the transformer to this little spade, and it goes in here. So now we're getting a positive line from the transformer, and it is talking consistently across this, the 6 that you made. So it's connecting here, and then it's jumping using this to all of those connections. So you can hook positive line to an accessory on all of those connections that you have across there. So the next thing you want to do, now I don't have any, I don't have any black ended connector spades, but obviously red is hot, not red is ground. So anyway, I take this and I run the wire coming from my common ground from the transformer, just like I ran the hot wire, all the way over to this, and I put it at this other end, okay? Tie it down. Okay, so positive line running up here, common ground running up here. I've got 6 of these jumpered, so these 6 here are all common ground feeding from the transformer. And I've got 6 jumpered here so that the hot line, all 6 of these are hot. So now you've got half of this is hot, half of this is common ground. So then all you need to do for your accessories is run wires all the way to this terminal block, which nice thing about these terminal blocks is it's easy to run two wires, I should say, back to the transformer, and then, you know, a shorter run with accessories to the terminal block, then to run all of those accessory lines all the way back to the transformer or what have you. So that's what's nice about these, and you can change them out a lot easier. You can add stuff, what have you. So what you do is you're going to take your positive line. And most accessories, you know, it really doesn't matter positive, negative, but you know, you definitely want to check on that. So let me grab an accessory real quick and I'll kind of show you. Okay, so here's a building, and this building is going to be in closer proximity to this underneath the layout. And the nice thing is they put little holes in here so that you can mount it underneath your layout, keep it all tidy. So anyway, however, whether it's I have enough wire here or I have to put extension wires on it, it's closer to this than it is necessarily to the transformer. So then what I do is I get my little spade, take my positive wire, right? Clamp it down on there, get that all secure, solder, whatever. And then I come over here and I hook that positive wire underneath here. I'm just faking this here just to kind of give you an idea. All right. So let's say that's connected to that. Cool. All right. So now it's coming in here. So I'm putting that positive wire from that building into the positive bank on this terminal block. Same thing with the negative. All right, or the common ground. I'm going to connect that in there, solder it, clamp it, whatever, and bring it over. And hook it into one of these common ground a common ground side of this terminal block. And then I can do that with, let's see, 4 more items, 4 more in here. Now, you can double clamp these so you can put another one of these under there or a wire or whatever, but you want to be careful about how much of that you're doing because you don't want to overload this and heat it up. Now, this is all real low wattage lights, but so you can double up these connections in here, but you just want to be careful how much of that you're doing. And these are real cheap. So, and again, you could make this entire thing, which is why they give you this whole thing, positive, and this entire thing common ground if you're going to put a lot of stuff in there. I didn't have that. I could just use these periodically underneath the table. All right, so now when you have your transformer and you apply power to your transformer, it's sending power to this terminal block and then relaying that power to these connected terminals that you have connected to, you know, building or whatever it might be. So one thing is, yeah, with this you could have, I know a lot of people just have a transformer for just accessory power. How my railroad's hooked up is I've got 2 tracks. I've got a ZW transformer, a Lionel 1950 ZW transformer, and it has the 2 big throttle toggles, and then it also has the smaller little nub toggles, so to speak, whatever you want to call those. I use those 2 for 2 different power schemes for accessories, and then the track is the big throttle toggle. So I have the one or the two different throttle toggles, the smaller ones, running to my power blocks, my power terminal blocks, and so that's how I run the power. I actually have only one thing on the other power, and that's the rotating beacon, because sometimes that needs more power than you want to give other things in order to get it to rotate right. So I think I have that one wired directly to the transformer, but you see what I'm saying. So pretty easy. You have one of these terminal blocks, you get however many you want jumpered to positive, negative. You bring in your two lines here from your transformer, and then you bring in your various positive and negative lines from your accessory. And as I mentioned, you can also do this to jumper power to different sections of your track. Now, one thing I do want to mention, and crap, I don't have it down here for the video, but you've all seen it. Do I have it for the video? No, I don't. Hang on a second. Let me go grab something. All right. So let me make mention of this from a safety standpoint. I know many of you, just like I do, you have Menards buildings and accessories on your layout. I have a few. I have mostly vehicles, but then one building. And those all plug in with a power pack, very similar to, power packs that you have for, a fan or your computer or what have you, your laptop. And then it has a standard plug that goes in, and it's basically an AC adapter. You cannot cut this line off, strip these off, and connect them to everything else in your transformer. It's a different kind of power. I know there are people out there that have experimented doing this, and some of you probably know a lot about electrical work and have been able to convert this in here so you have it all wired into one thing. But for the average user out there, average model railroader, just find a power strip, a grounded power strip, and plug these up into those buildings and tidy up all your wires. Do not try to cut this off, because this changes everything. This is what adapts that lighting voltage in your Menards accessory from AC power. If you just try to run a wire directly to it, or wire this into a transformer, you're going to blow something or potentially cause a fire. I'm just trying to give you a little warning. Don't do that. So let's set aside any Menard stuff that you have. This is for your standard model railroad stuff, like this building, crossing gate, any kind of accessory that's made by model railroad companies like Lionel, MTH, Atlas, the lot. So anyway, that's how you hook up one of these power blocks, terminal strips, and pretty easy to do. One thing I suggest is you get this all connected in there, or as you connect each one, test each item. I didn't even have this bolted up in there where I couldn't move it around a little bit. And I put the power in there, I put one item in there, I tested it. I put the next item in, I tested it. And once I filled this all up, then I started tidying wires and putting down wire ties and strapping it to the bottom of the layout table. So anyway, hopefully that has helped a few of you understand how this worked. I had to watch some other videos myself and do a little reading before I started using these. And then once I did, it was like, wow, this is super simple and it's very convenient. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. If you like this content, make sure that you like the video and you subscribe to the channel and click on the little bell to tell you when we put up new content. Really appreciate it. And please comment, give us an idea about what you've done with hooking up all the power on your model railroad. All right, thanks so much. We'll see you on the next video.